This is the Nobull Allday Ripstop, a hybrid shoe promising to be the perfect blend of performance and everyday wear. But does it live up to the hype, and is it worth the $150 price tag? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Dr. Nate. I'm a physical therapist, and I've been wearing the Ripstops pretty much exclusively for the past 6 months. So I feel pretty well qualified to talk about these shoes in depth and go over the things I like about them and the things I don't like quite as much. Before we get started, I just want to say that this video is not sponsored by Nobull, and these are just going to be my honest thoughts and opinions after wearing these shoes for a long period of time. I personally am very minimalist when it comes to everyday sneakers. I don't have 100 different pairs of shoes for all different occasions. I like having one good pair of shoes that fits a variety of different circumstances and can be used for most everyday activities, walking around, running now and then, and lifting at the gym. And honestly, I think that's what most people are looking for when they end up looking at the Ripstops. This is probably not going to be your marathon shoe or your Olympic weightlifting shoe or anything that's hyper specific. It's marketed as Nobull's sort of hybrid performance, training, and everyday shoe. And that's exactly the purpose that it serves for me. But honestly, before I look into any of that stuff or even consider buying a shoe, it's got to pass the look test. And that's the first thing that I love about this shoe and that I think catches most people's eye. It's a simple shoe, but it's got a few really cool and unique design elements to it that make it really stand out. The first really obvious one is that big Nobull logo in the back. I think the Nobull branding is really cool. I love the company. They're based in Boston, where I'm from, and I just think they have a really unique brand identity despite being in a really crowded market. The upper material on the shoe is what gives it its name, which is Ripstop. I honestly didn't really know what Ripstop was or what it was used for before buying these shoes, but Ripstop is basically that thin, durable material that's used a lot in things like tents or sleeping bags or parachutes, which is the first big thing that I love about this shoe, which is its durability. The Ripstop has that same sort of soft, flexible feeling of a lot of other Flyknit shoes or those more fabric shoes, but the material is just so much more durable. Again, I've been wearing these shoes almost exclusively every single day for about 6 months now, and there's almost no signs of wear or tear on this top Ripstop material. The other great thing about Ripstop is it's super easy to clean. I throw these things directly in the washing machine about once a month, and even before this video, I took a toothbrush to them to really clean them up. In my experience with the fabric or Flyknit construction of a lot of other similar shoes, the durability just isn't there long term, and it's really hard to clean them. That is definitely not the case with this Ripstop material. You can scrub really hard directly on this Ripstop material without it fraying or ripping apart. And again, that's just not something you can say for a lot of these lightweight everyday shoes, especially white ones. The one thing I don't love about the top of this shoe is going to be the lip. It's a little flimsy, which makes it a little bit more annoying to put on the shoe than I'd like, and sometimes it ends up sort of folding under itself. So that's the one thing I would probably change about this top, is just making that lip a little bit more substantial. The midsole is made with lightweight Phylon, just like a lot of other shoes in this category. So it's dense and it has plenty of support to it, but it also has a little bit of a soft squish on the outside. And honestly, after about 6 months, this is probably where most of the wear and tear is visible. Especially along the back of the midsole, you can see that this diamond pattern is starting to wear away. Can't really fault them though, given how much use these shoes have gotten and how many miles they have on them. Finally, the bottom of the shoe and the outsole is constructed of rubber and honestly has held up really nicely and still has most of its traction. It's got this really interesting triangular pattern on the bottom with really deep cuts for extra traction. Now, the one complaint I have about these outsoles, which is definitely not exclusive to these shoes, is just that they tend to track a lot of dirt and snow because these grooves are so deep. So if you're coming inside, especially after walking through ice or snow, you'll notice that it takes a lot of work to tap that out and get the bottom of the shoes dry. Again, that happens with a lot of shoes, but it's just something I've noticed. Now let's talk about the feel of these shoes. The Ripstops are definitely a lightweight shoe, coming in at just over 10 ounces. This makes them great for sort of that everyday hybrid performance that a lot of people are looking for. They're great for all day walking, some jogging here and there, and even certain styles of weightlifting. Now again, if you're looking for a shoe primarily for things like long distance running or powerlifting, this probably isn't the one for you. It's just not specialized enough for any of those things. But if you are looking for a shoe that's flexible enough for everyday use, a little bit of jogging here and there, maybe some sports and some casual lifting in the gym, this is a great option. It's comfortable, it's lightweight, and it's going to be totally fine for most everyday use cases. Now the arch support is okay. It is a little bit more of a flat shoe. So if you need something a little bit more substantial from an arch support perspective, you may have to throw an insole in there. But other than that, the midsole is dense and supportive enough, I think, for most people, which is really what you want out of sort of a hybrid performance shoe like this. As far as sizing goes, the shoe does run pretty true to size. I would probably classify the toe box as medium width. It's not super narrow that it's going to be cramping most people's feet, but it's also not exceedingly roomy if you need an extra wide toe box. All right, finally, let's finish up with use cases and performance of the Ripstop. Again, I'm pretty much using this shoe as a daily wear and a gym shoe. Now to add some context to that, when I'm at the gym, I'm typically not doing any super heavy powerlifting or Olympic lifting, and I don't do any CrossFit. Not to say that you can't do those things at all with this shoe or that it's completely off limits. My workout routine is typically more of what you might consider to be a bodybuilding style of training, consisting of your typical free weight exercises, machine-based exercises, some treadmill, and then I'm usually shooting hoops or playing basketball once or twice a week. And this is the shoe I use for all of that. Now again, I'm usually not doing things like 5-on-5 full court basketball. If I was doing that, I would wear my basketball shoes that have much more ankle support, but these are totally fine for just shooting around or running up and down the court. I definitely wouldn't consider myself to be a runner, but I have jogged in these, and honestly, they hold up really well as sort of a hybrid running shoe. But again, if I was training for a marathon or running long distances consistently, I'd probably go with a different shoe. All right, so who is this shoe for? You probably have a good sense of this by now, but the Ripstop is a great option if you want sort of that hybrid between everyday and performance. You want to be able to go to the gym with these, you want to be able to run a little bit here and there, you want to be able to walk long distances without any issues, and you want something that's durable and just going to hold up really well for everyday use. So if that's what you're looking for and you're okay with the price tag, I think these are awesome. That being said, if the price is a big stretch, there are tons of other shoes out there that will do a similar job at a much lower price range. I'll link one of my favorites in the description down below, but I think some of the lower end Adidas models are a really good proxy if you're looking for a similar look and feel and sort of versatile everyday functionality. But there are probably some things that you're compromising on by going just with a cheaper option. Obviously the look and the feel and the branding, but I think the biggest one for me is going to be the durability. This Ripstop material just seems to be so much more durable than most sneakers I've had. And honestly, I think I'll get way more use out of these shoes when it's all said and done than a lot of the other cheaper options that have gone with in the past. But if you're okay with the price and you're looking for a flexible hybrid performance shoe, would highly recommend the Ripstops. They've served me well, and I hope they serve you well too. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you want to see more videos like this, and I'll see you in the next one.